The Council's decision. The galaxy had been quiet for 3,000 years. No great wars, no fleets clashing, no planets burning. Peace had lasted so long that many believed war would never return. Children on distant worlds grew up without ever hearing the sound of battle. Weapons were stored away in museums. Armies were turned into symbols of history. The galaxy believed it had outgrown conflict. But in the shadows of peace, fear grew. The council chamber of the Galactic Union floated above a red dwarf star, its walls made of silver glass that shimmered like water. Here the leaders of 100 alien races gathered. They spoke in many voices, many tongues, yet all carried the same unease. At the center of the chamber stood a glowing symbol, the seal of peace, the promise that had held them together for millennia. Today, that promise would be broken. The council floor trembled with the sound of arguments. A tall insectoid with wings that clicked against its shell shouted that humans had grown too fast. A scaled reptilian leader slammed its clawed hand on the table, declaring that humans had ignored the old treaties. Others whispered that humanity had become too strong, too ambitious, too different. For centuries, humans had been watched carefully. They were the youngest race admitted into the council, and many expected them to act humble. But instead of bowing to older species, humanity expanded with speed and confidence. They colonized worlds near the edge of the galaxy, mined asteroid belts, and built ships larger and faster than expected. To some, this was dangerous. "They are a threat," hissed a serpentine delegate, its golden eyes burning. "If we wait any longer, they will surpass us all." "They must be stopped before they bring war to the galaxy again," added a winged creature with feathers black as night. The chamber filled with nods, voices agreeing, fear echoing in every corner. Yet there were those who opposed. A soft-voiced aquatic being, its body glowing with pale blue light, spoke slowly. "Humans have broken no laws. They have defended no worlds but their own. Why do you seek to punish them?" The response was harsh. "Because they smile too easily when we speak of war," answered a metallic being, its body made of shifting plates. "They are not like us. They never trusted peace. They never forgot blood." The silence that followed was heavier than steel. At last, the Grand Arbiter, an ancient being of immense size, rose from the central seat. Its skin was like stone, its eyes hollow pools of white light. With a voice that shook the chamber, it declared, "The matter has been weighed. Humanity will be stripped of its fleets. If they resist, war shall follow." The seal of peace above the chamber flickered. For the first time in 3,000 years, the council voted for war. The message was sent to Earth. The aliens expected terror. They expected pleas for mercy. They expected humanity to kneel before the might of the entire galaxy. Every race that had ever fought war believed humans would finally taste fear. But when the human ambassador received the declaration, he did not panic. He did not bow his head. He stood tall in his dark uniform, his eyes cold yet calm. The room watched him on the hollow screens across the chamber. He read the words of the council carefully, then lifted his head and he smiled. It was not the smile of surrender. It was not the smile of arrogance. It was the smile of someone who had been waiting for this moment. His words echoed across the chamber, carried through the translators to every ear, every mind. 3,000 years of peace, he said. "And still you fear us. Still you dream of war. Very well, if it is war you want." He paused, his smile widening. "Then humanity accepts." The chamber erupted in noise. Some shouted in anger. Some cried out in disbelief. Others fell silent as if struck by a shadow that chilled their hearts. The humans were not afraid. They did not beg. They did not hesitate. They laughed. For the first time in 3,000 years, laughter filled the council chamber. A sound sharper than any weapon. A sound that promised storms to come, and in that moment, every alien leader understood a terrible truth. Humanity had never trusted peace. They had prepared for this day. Humanity's secret history, the galaxy believed peace had made everyone safe. For 3,000 years, worlds stopped building armies. Ships were turned into trade fleets and soldiers became myths told in children's tales. The council trusted peace so deeply that even their defense fleets were nothing more than symbols. Polished for ceremony but unfit for real war. But humanity was different. Even as new colonies joined the galactic community, even as Earth traded with hundreds of worlds, humanity kept its memories alive. They remembered every scar, every battle, every betrayal written in their own history. From the burning of cities in ancient wars to the dark machines of the 20th century, humans carried the lessons of violence in their bones. They never trusted peace, not fully. In quiet places far from the eyes of the Council, humanity built. On the frozen moons of Jupiter, secret shipyards carved war machines out of ice and steel. In the asteroid belts of Mars' orbit, hidden factories forged weapons never shown to outsiders. Deep beneath the oceans of Earth, bases slept in silence, their halls filled with drones, missiles, and engines that had never been tested in public. Generations were trained in silence. Soldiers disguised as explorers drilled on barren worlds, testing combat suits that shimmered like shadows. Pilots raced through artificial storms inside giant domes, preparing for battles that might never come. Entire fleets were launched into dark space and cloaked with silence, waiting for the day they would be called. And all the while, humanity smiled in the council chambers, pretending to be weak, pretending to be harmless. They traded art, music, and science, but they hid the other side, the side that sharpened steel in secret. Many alien races asked why humans built ships larger than needed for trade. The humans always laughed, saying, "We like to be prepared." The council dismissed it as arrogance. None imagined how true those words were. 3,000 years of peace had made the galaxy forget the taste of war. But humanity never forgot. Behind closed doors, human leaders met in shadowed rooms. Presidents, generals, admirals, and scientists shared one unbroken oath. Peace will not last forever. Be ready when it ends. This oath passed from one generation to the next. Fathers whispered it to sons, mothers taught it to daughters. Children grew up knowing their games of war were not just games. They were training for something real. In the universities of Earth, students studied history not to admire peace, but to understand war. They memorized the rise and fall of empires, the mistakes of generals, the betrayals of treaties. They studied alien cultures, their strengths and weaknesses, their weapons and their fears. They studied until they knew more about their neighbors than the neighbors knew about themselves. When the Council's spies tried to uncover the truth, they saw only fragments. Strange military exercises hidden behind the excuse of exploration, research stations guarded more tightly than banks, fleets that seemed too large for peaceful patrols. But every time humanity explained it away with a smile, and the Council wanted to believe. Believing was easier than asking hard questions. The galaxy thought humanity was reckless. In truth, humanity was patient. And now, with war declared, that patience would finally break. In the days following the Council's announcement, the humans made no effort to hide their preparations. Across the stars, fleets woke from the dark. Engines that had slept for centuries ignited in brilliant blue flame. Massive warships, larger than anything the Council believed possible, emerged from hidden docks. Carriers, cruisers, dreadnoughts, all armed, all ready. Entire planets revealed their secret faces. Civilian colonies were suddenly ringed with defense platforms. Mining stations unfolded into fortresses bristling with cannons. Even the moons of Saturn, once thought to be empty ice, revealed glowing launch bays that opened like eyes in the dark. The galaxy gasped. How had humanity hidden this for so long? How had they built weapons more advanced than anything in the Council's records? The answer was simple. Humanity had never wasted the peace. While others grew soft, they sharpened themselves in silence. While others traded away their soldiers for comfort, humanity turned their comfort into weapons. While others trusted the seal of peace, humanity trusted only in preparation. Alien leaders who once laughed at human ambition now trembled in their palaces. They whispered among themselves, wondering what other secrets humanity kept hidden. Some still believed humans could be crushed. They gathered their fleets, proud and certain that numbers alone would bring victory. But others remembered the look on the ambassador's face. That smile, that terrifying smile. They wondered what it meant, and in the depths of space, far from the Council's sight, the human fleets gathered. Thousands of ships aligned in silence, their lights burning like cold stars. Admirals stood at the command decks, their hands steady, their eyes calm. Soldiers strapped into armor. Pilots slid into cockpits, and across every channel a single message was spoken. The time has come. The galaxy had declared war, but humanity had been waiting for this moment since the day they were born. The first strike. The declaration of war spread like fire across the galaxy. Alien leaders sent messages of victory before the first battle had even begun. They believed humanity would collapse quickly. After all, how could one young species resist the strength of 100 united worlds? Pride blinded them. The first fleets were gathered by the Council within days. Thousands of ships painted with the symbols of peace now turned to war, burned across space in formation. Their engines glowed like suns, their weapons armed and ready. Every alien race wanted to be part of the first strike, the moment they believed would end the human problem forever. Their destination? Earth. They expected fear. They expected silence. Instead, as the alien fleets moved closer to human space, their long-range sensors began to fail. First came static, then shadows. Entire screens went black. Signals from their scouting ships vanished. Captains barked orders, engineers rushed to check systems, but nothing made sense. Interference? One alien commander demanded. "No," replied a frightened officer, staring at the broken readings. "It is not interference. Something is shutting us down." One by one, their ships fell into silence. Then, in the dark, human ships appeared. They did not arrive with fanfare. They did not broadcast warnings. They simply emerged from shadows like hunters stepping out of a forest. Colossal warships slid into view, their hulls black as night, their lights burning with sharp blue fire. They surrounded the alien fleets, outnumbered but unafraid. The first human voice came across open channels, clear and calm. "You came to bring war," the voice said. "Welcome. You will be the first lesson." Before the aliens could respond, the humans struck. Blinding flashes lit the void. Human missiles moved faster than any alien sensors could track. Laser beams cut across space with surgical precision, slicing through shields as if they were nothing but glass. Entire alien cruisers cracked open like fruit, their engines spilling fire into the dark. The Council fleets panicked. Some tried to fight back, unleashing their plasma cannons and energy beams, but their weapons were slow compared to the storm the humans unleashed. Every time an alien fired, the humans had already moved. Every time an alien ship tried to retreat, it was destroyed in seconds. What shocked the aliens most was not just the power of human weapons, but the way they fought. Humans did not hesitate. They did not test the waters. They struck with full force, with precision, with efficiency born from centuries of practice. Their movements were like a memory, as if they had fought this battle 1,000 times before. Because in truth, they had. Every battle had been played out in human simulations. In secret war games, in endless drills hidden from the galaxy, the humans knew exactly how the aliens would move, exactly how they would fight, and exactly how to break them. Within hours, the first alien fleet was gone. Not defeated, not scattered, erased. A single human dreadnought drifted among the wreckage, its engines glowing cold blue. On its bridge, the admiral stood with hands behind his back, his expression calm. His officers reported victory, but he did not smile. Victory was not a surprise. It was expected. He gave a single order: send the message. Across the galaxy, alien leaders received transmissions. At first, they believed it was news of human surrender. But when the image appeared, their blood ran cold. The screen showed the human admiral standing before a wall of stars, the wreckage of alien fleets drifting behind him. His voice was steady, his words simple. "You asked for war," he said. "You believed we were weak. This was only your first fleet. Send another and we will teach you again. Send all of them and we will still be waiting." Then he leaned closer, his eyes sharp. "Understand this. We did not want war. But if you demand it, we will show you what war means." The transmission ended, but the image remained burned into the minds of all who saw it. Alien worlds fell into chaos. Citizens screamed in fear. Soldiers whispered about the human smile, that cold smile that had greeted the Council's declaration. Leaders argued in panic, some demanding peace, others crying for more fleets to be gathered. Yet deep inside, a single truth gnawed at them all. Humanity had not been caught by surprise. They had been waiting, and worse, they had enjoyed it. The first strike was over, but the war had only begun. The smirk of humanity, the galaxy was not silent after the first strike. It was loud with panic. Messages flashed across every system. Reports of fleets destroyed, ships erased, and human war machines emerging from shadows spread like wildfire. On Council worlds, leaders shouted over each other in fear. Some demanded bigger fleets, others called for retreat. But all of them asked the same question: how did humanity do this? The answer came quickly. Humanity gave it to them. For the first time in galactic history, Earth broadcast a message not to the Council but to the entire galaxy. Every planet, every ship, every port received the signal. Screens lit up in homes, marketplaces, and even palaces. Children stopped playing. Merchants stopped selling. Soldiers stopped drilling, and then the image appeared. A human general stood against a wall of stars. His uniform was black, his face lined by age but calm as stone. Behind him, windows revealed the wreckage of alien fleets drifting in fire. His eyes looked directly into the camera as if he was staring into the soul of every creature who watched. His voice was steady. His tone was cold. "You declared war," he said. "You believed us weak. You believed peace had made us soft. You were wrong." The words rolled through the galaxy like thunder. "You thought peace made us forget. But peace was our teacher. For 3,000 years, while you grew lazy, we prepared. While you sang of peace, we trained in silence. While you trusted treaties, we sharpened steel." The general leaned forward, his mouth curling into a faint smile. Not wide, not mocking, just sharp enough to chill the hearts of millions. "You wanted war," he said. "We have lived for this moment." That smirk, the small cold curve of human lips, spread terror faster than any fleet. For it was not arrogance. It was certainty. Across the galaxy, alien leaders trembled. They realized humans were not laughing out of madness. They were laughing because they were ready. The message did not end with threats. It ended with a promise. "Do not think this is defense alone. If you continue, if you send your fleets, humanity will not only survive. We will decide how this war ends. And when peace returns, it will be by our choice, not yours." The transmission ended. Silence followed, but it was not empty silence. It was heavy, choking, filled with fear. On a desert world, a child asked her father, "Why do humans smile when they speak of war?" The father had no answer. On a council world, an elder whispered to his peers, "We have awakened something ancient in them, something we thought peace had buried, but not all feared. Some burned with anger." The council gathered again, their chamber filled with shouts and accusations. They argued about sending more fleets, about crushing Earth before humanity could spread further. Pride and fear twisted together into desperate decisions, and humanity watched. They did not rush. They did not beg. Their fleets held position at the edge of known space, their engines glowing like distant stars. They sent no more threats, no more broadcasts. They simply waited as if daring the galaxy to act. Alien spies tried to gather information. What they found made the council panic even more. Human colonies were not collapsing in fear. Instead, they were celebrating. Crowds gathered in cities, watching the first broadcasts of victory, cheering as alien fleets burned in the skies. Young men and women lined up outside recruitment halls, eager to join the war effort. Old veterans came forward, their voices strong, offering to train the next wave. The galaxy expected humans to be afraid of war. Instead, they welcomed it. Reports told of factories working day and night, shipyards launching more warships every week, and scientists releasing new technologies that had been hidden for centuries. Humanity was not struggling to keep up with war. They were thriving in it. The Council could not understand. Peace had made every other species slow, but humanity moved faster. Peace had made others forget, but humanity remembered. Peace had made others weak, but humanity was strong. The smirk haunted the council chambers. It appeared in every meeting, in every dream. Leaders saw it when they closed their eyes. That smile that promised no fear. That smile that promised the war had only just begun. And as more fleets gathered to march against Earth, a single truth grew harder to ignore. Humanity was not just ready for war. Humanity was enjoying it. The final twist: the Council could no longer hide its fear. What was meant to be a short war had turned into something unthinkable. The first fleet was gone. The second had been shattered. Now the galaxy trembled at the thought of sending a third. Yet pride is a heavy chain. Alien leaders told their people that victory was still certain. They promised humanity would soon be broken. They swore that Earth would kneel. But behind closed doors, their voices cracked. They argued late into the night, their words sharp and desperate. Some demanded peace talks. Others screamed that retreat meant humiliation. And all of them remembered the human smile. At last, a decision was made. They would send everything. Every fleet, every soldier, every weapon hidden since the peace began. It was no longer just war. It was survival. The largest armada in galactic history set course for Earth. Tens of thousands of ships filled the dark. their engines burning like suns. The skies above alien homeworlds emptied as the Council poured every resource into this one last strike. But as the fleet moved, whispers spread among the soldiers. They remembered the first strike. They remembered the wreckage drifting like bones in the dark. They remembered the human broadcast, the cold voice that promised war would not end until humanity chose. Fear followed them like a shadow, even as commanders barked orders to stay strong. The journey was long, and when they reached the edge of human space, the silence began. One by one, their ships lost contact. Long-range scans flickered into static. Distress calls vanished. The void grew heavy, filled with invisible eyes. And then, without warning, the humans appeared again. But this time it was different. This was not a hidden ambush. This was not a single fleet. This was a storm. From every angle, human warships emerged, dreadnoughts larger than cities, carriers releasing endless swarms of fighters, cruisers moving with deadly precision. The dark of space lit up with blue and red fire as humanity revealed its full strength. The Council had believed humanity was hiding a fleet. They had been wrong. Humanity had been hiding an empire of war. The battle was not a battle. It was slaughter. Alien fleets broke apart as soon as the first shots were fired. Ships tried to retreat, but were hunted down by human squadrons that moved faster than thought. Energy beams carved through shields. Missiles tore apart flagships, and entire formations collapsed in minutes. Commanders screamed for order. Officers shouted for courage. But nothing stopped the collapse. The galaxy's might, the combined strength of 100 worlds, was falling apart before their eyes. And then came the final message. Across every channel, across every fleet, across every planet, humanity's voice returned. This time it was not just one general. It was the human ambassador, the same man who had once stood in the council chamber and smiled at the declaration of war. His face appeared again, calm, steady, and cold. "You have given us no choice," he said. "You declared war. You ended peace. And now you ask yourselves why we smile." He paused, his eyes narrowing, his voice turning sharper. "Because war is our nature. Because peace is only a pause between battles. Because for 3,000 years we waited while you grew soft. And when you came for us, we were ready." Behind him, the galaxy saw what lay beyond the human fleets. Thousands more ships rising from the dark, fleets that had not even joined the battle yet. Weapons glowing like stars, engines burning like fire. Humanity had not sent everything to the war. They still had more waiting. The ambassador's words cut deeper than any blade. "You thought war would destroy us, but it has given us purpose. And now we will decide when peace returns. Not you." The screen faded to black. Across the battlefield, alien fleets collapsed in terror. Some surrendered immediately, their captains broadcasting pleas for mercy. Others fought until their ships broke apart. But the result was the same. Humanity stood unbroken. Humanity stood stronger than ever. The war was over before it had truly begun. On the worlds of the Council, leaders fell silent. They had no more armies to send, no more fleets to build. The galaxy's might had been shattered, and all because they had believed humans were weak. Now they understood. Humanity had never feared war. Humanity had never trusted peace. Humanity had only waited,